It is here, Collective Podcast, Season 2. Christian, how the fuck are you?
We're in Season 2, Jerry. So, yeah. Recap of Season 1. So, big guests we had. We had Larry Sharp, Craig Lloydron, Mike Levy. We did Tales from the Filmmakers.
But it wasn't good without Joe Valenti.
Yes. And, yeah. So, so did I promise you guys that Joe Valenti was going to be on the first episode of the second season?
You actually didn't. I never heard of this
before.
Oh,
well, too bad. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a heel. You know this. I'm a bad guy. I'm a heel. Joe Valenti is not going to be on this podcast. He's just going to be in name only. You know, I pulled a Vince McMahon. I was like, you could be on the podcast, Joe. and then I gave him a date, and then I was like, nope, I'm pulling you. This man, another person, is going to be on our...
You're taking away his belt?
Going to be our show, yeah. I'm taking away his title match. I'm taking away his podcast match.
In order to give the Valenti man an opportunity, it always takes another Joe to see how you could fill the void. So For this episode, we have Joe Quadara. He is a very successful young person who is doing a lot with the business community on Staten Island. He's involved with a lot of community organizations and has the Manfredi movement that he's working on. So we are going to talk to him about his aspirations, his key pursuit of happiness in business, and in his personal life.
Yeah. But first, before we jump into that, Jerry, what's been going on with you lately? It's been a month and a half.
I know it's been very interesting with work. So with Sunrise, we've been on a nice trajectory. We have about $115,000 fundraised so far for our walk coming up in June. And with that walk, it helps give summer back to kids with cancer and their siblings. We're expected to serve over 100 families to have those kids with cancer and their siblings come to our camp for free.
That's cool. You have a event coming up?
So that's going to be Sunday, June 2nd. It will be at Mount Loretto. And what's symbolic about our event for Mount Loretto is that the kids actually go to that exact same site for the camp itself. And what's important is when you have 500 attendees who are enjoying the walk, the biggest thing that I want them to take away from it is that these kids who are going to be at that site about like 3 or 4 weeks later, they're going to have twice as much fun as you are with the same opportunities presented to them. So we want to make sure that all those kids are living life to the best of their capabilities.
Sweet. So what about me? What's going on with me? So I'll do a free plug real quick. They're not sponsors, but I'll do a free plug. I've been working at Phoenix Studios on Staten Island, and I've been specifically working on Audio Dungeon.
Oh, nice.
Just a D&D show. We do 4 shows. One is the main show, which is the Celestial War. The other show is Escape the Dungeon. Another show is Riddles in the Dark. And another show is Super Zeros. Real quick, Escape the Dungeon is self-explanatory. They have one person go on the show. It's a guest. They have some really big guests on. I don't want to name them because I want you guys to watch. But you have one person has to escape the dungeon within 10 minutes, and they're given a scenario, and they're only given a bag of holding, which they have to pull from, and everyone else, all the other panels, put good or bad items in.
That's pretty. Even for me, I'm not even into that stuff. That's pretty cool.
I'm trying to get you on.
Yeah,
because I think it'd be funny.
I would love
seeing you be your sarcastic self, not knowing what the hell's going on.
I would love to not know what I'm talking about.
They have Riddles in the Dark, which is self-explanatory. It's a game of 20 questions. You're giving a riddle, like a scenario, and you have to answer yes or no questions. You have to ask yes or no questions in order to solve the mystery. And Super Zeros, which is hilarious, is you're given a scenario with a villain. It's a stupid villain. Well, not stupid. It's a ridiculous villain, and the panelists of 6 are given ridiculous superheroes, which you never would think would ever save the day, and they have to come up with the way to beat the villain.
So, which one can you see us emulating out of the 4 that you just mentioned?
Well, you would probably be good with Escape the Dungeon and Riddles in the Dark. So your questions, especially today, were bomb. And then you have the Celestial War, which is the main D&D quest, which is an hour-long episodes. which is more of the story based.
Yeah.
They role play and stuff. But it's you can find it on YouTube at Audio Dungeon or www.audiodungeon.com. They also have a lot of sponsors coming up as well. We got other shows. So that's my free plug, Jerry. That's my free plug.
The plug of free
Also,
$99.
before we get into Joe, I binged watched this week the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh, really?
So I was a big Sabrina Teenage Witch fan as a kid, especially Melissa Joan Hart. She was my first.
Aww.
She was my first crush. My first.
First
my
girlfriend?
childhood. My first childhood crush. Not specifically from Sabrina, but when she was on Clarissa Explains It All. But yeah, I watched this show. Really good. I recommend it to everybody. It's a complete opposite of what the comedy Sabrina Teenage Witch was when we were kids, but it's really, really good. And then I watched Game of Thrones this week.
Your review?
It was good. I mean, it's been 2 years since we've had a new season, so they had to play reminder and catch up with everybody. Here's where everybody is. So it was kind of boring, but we've had some revelations.
How long are those shows? So I never watched Game of Thrones. Like
how long have they been on?
How long is the episode?
So it varies because you have certain episodes. So mainly they're like hour long, but you have some episodes that go maybe like an hour 10. Usually it's the finale episode of the season. This season it's only 6 episodes, and each episode is going to be like feature length to wrap everything up. But so far, it's good. Oh, by the way, I saw the Star Wars trailer real quick. I know my monologue is going really long, but a lot of shit happened that we have to talk about. So real quick, I saw the Star Wars trailer. I'm super excited for it. Yes, Chris, I know you're listening. Chris, I know you're listening. I am a fanboy.
That he's listening?
I am a fanboy. I don't care. I'm a freaking Star Wars mark. I'm a Star Trek mark. I know that's sacrilegious, but I like both. Shut up. This movie is probably going to make up for The Last Jedi. It's a really good trailer. There was a big reveal at the end of the trailer, which made me jump out of my chair, screaming in the kitchen on Friday. It was awesome. I can't wait. And yeah, that's basically it. And Avengers. We got Avengers in 2 weeks. We're going to have a review. We're going to have a review up, Jerry. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to have a review up.
And I'm going to be there looking at you with all love and disgust.
I'm going to have a review up because Jerry doesn't watch movies. But yeah, Jerry.
Yo,
I'm ranting
going
again.
on 30. That's my shit.
I'm ranting. Let's no, your movie's Freaky Friday.
Thank you.
Let's go. Let's get to the interview. Joe, let's go.
Yeah. What is going on, everybody? Collective Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. Christian, the adventures that we're on, it's definitely a surreal one.
Woo!
That is the only response that we care about for this podcast. So,
well, yeah, I mean, what response do you want? My allergies are killing me.
Close enough. So, we have a special guest for our first episode, second season, and that is Joe Quadara.
Hey, how you doing? It's a pleasure to be on here. I've been working with Jerry for a long time on a ton of stuff, and then we got introduced, I guess, through Jerry, right? Yeah. And now here we are. I'm just excited to be here, excited to talk about whatever it is that is going to be interesting to you guys. I know we talk a lot about business, charity, we got it all. So I guess you lead the way. You let me know how everything's been going on with Sunrise, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. So, just with you, like, I know you've graduated college, like, relatively in the last couple years. What's it been like just getting yourself in the forefront and making sure people know who you are?
Sure. So I think an interesting part about that is that on Staten Island, it's really different than it may be anywhere else because it's so small and so tight-knitted. Sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. But, coming out of college, I was really lucky to have a job opportunity with George Passarello and the Vaughn Agency, who introduced me to a ton of people. Starting off with our clients, he introduced me to people in the Kiwanis Club who I ended up joining, and then it branched out there for a bunch of political groups, and I've now started my own charity, the Manfredi Movement, which has just kind of led to more introductions, which is pretty cool. Well, a lot of them being within politics, business, and charity, which are similar in some ways and crazy different in others.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but it's been a really cool journey, and I got to be honest, I love the work life way more than I love school. School was interesting and fun, don't get me wrong, but I was so excited to use whatever I was learning, that which was practical at least, and just see if I can make some money and make some connections with it. So I've been having a blast.
I have a random question. Would you rather work all night or all morning?
Oof. That's a good one. You know what? This is weird because I've been trying to find out if I'm a morning person or a night person. I just don't know. And I'm trying to find a way to just get less sleep so I can do more. So, like, the gym, for example, Jerry sees me at the gym, and he could probably last on the Stairmaster or the elliptical longer than I could sleep.
Oh, please.
It's out of control. So I'm
I've
working.
heard stories.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I watch it and I get tired on my own. I'm trying to keep up with Jerry. But anyway, so if I get there in the morning, I find that I have more energy throughout the day. So I guess, if I can get there, I like being a morning person and having the nighttime to relax. But with these clients, and especially with politics, it seems like it's sporadic. Sometimes it's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning start, and sometimes it's a 6 a.m. start. Sometimes I'm getting text messages and emails later at night. But that's kind of cool. I like the flexibility. So I guess my answer would be morning if I could choose.
That's for sure. Well, think of it this way, too. Like, it's easier to get yourself energized that way. So, like, if you're trying to pull, like, all-nighters, I feel like it becomes more counterintuitive day after day.
Yeah.
And there's more difficulty as far as what you're managing on, like, a calendar type of basis. And I'm always speaking subjectively for myself. What do you think, Chris?
I'm neither morning nor night. I'm afternoon.
Fair enough.
He's 12 to 8.
And then after a certain time in the afternoon, I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to. Which I think that's the, I guess, the paradox, I guess, of like, some people will wake up in the morning and be like, I'm ready to hit the day and just go. And some people at nighttime just want to burn the midnight oil. I'm neither, just because I like to sleep. I like to go to bed early, and then I like to sleep late. So
Yeah.
that's the issue.
Kind of a segue to that, because I'm just curious by everybody in the room.
Yep.
So we'll start with you, Joe. What was, like, the most and least you've ever slept in a night?
All right, so the least I've definitely done just no sleep. Yeah, I've done that for sure. My days working with Ponders and Sound, which I'm back with them now. But when I was younger, we did some cool events where I would work like a party late night until like 3 a.m. and then go back to the warehouse, have a cup of coffee, change my shirt, and then head ready to like a community event, which started at 4:30 in the morning, like a walk or something like that. So I've done that. College filled with no sleep, fantastic. That's kind of on the drinking and partying side rather than just the working side. The most I've slept, probably this past week when I got my wisdom teeth out, I was just like so out of it. I'm talking like 12 hours of sleep without even blinking.
That propofol was just. I still remember like when I got my wisdom teeth pulled. Like I was just that whole weekend was just it was just a blur. No, I don't even remember it.
Awful. Yeah.
Awful. It's an awful experience, but at the same time, you feel with the anesthesia, you feel wonderful, and then when it starts to wear off, you're like.
It's that second day. The second
Yeah,
day
that second
in that
day.
situation is always the worst.
Oh. That's my thing. I didn't even get the anesthesia because I went on the weekend, so I had to prioritize. Like, there's no way I can take off a day of work and then be banged up the next day. That's 2 days in the middle of the week. I was like, you know what? Let me go on the weekend. Of course, the dentist I was going to, they don't put people out on the weekends, so I was wide awake for 4 teeth coming out.
God.
You felt everything.
I mean, they numbed up my mouth pretty well, and the doctor was the man. He was singing, just for the story quick, he was singing Queen at the top of his lungs
Nice.
while pulling my teeth out, and then asking me if I saw the movie. I wasn't sure how I was supposed to answer, being that I couldn't even speak, but it was a crazy experience. The guy was pretty cool. But yeah, afterwards, I didn't want to take any of the crazy medicine they offered me. Vicodin, not my thing. I was like, you know what, I'll take the ibuprofen. But I paid for it later because the day or two after, it was swollen, and that was the worst part about it.
My dentist sings "I Want to Be Sedated" as he's pulling. No, legit. Like he's in your mouth. He's bringing. I want to be sedated, and I'm just like, just don't sing that song.
Don't you feel like it's kind of a trap when they do that to you? Because then you're going to have the instinctive reaction. It's like, oh, that hurts.
But man,
Or to laugh or something like that.
man,
Exactly.
all 14. Like, how are you able to like eat?
Oh yeah, I know. I lost like 5 pounds, 5 or 6 pounds. It's my mom is the bomb. She made like a bunch of soup for me, a bunch of food.
Lots
that
of
I
ice
could
cream.
eat. Yeah, ice cream. Yeah, it was cool. But I hate that. And when I'm not able to do something like Wasn't able to work to my full potential. Couldn't really leave the house because I was like a chipmunk for the most part. I couldn't eat what I wanted. Couldn't have a glass of wine. I was like, this is unbelievable. I hate this. There's nothing worse in the world. And I'm like a little baby when I'm sick. So that was like the same thing. It was awful.
Me too.
On the subject of food, so I'm curious about this, knowing that you're like a Kiwanis member and just involved with so much in the community that way.
Yep.
Let's say if you have like your whole sense of freedom as far as the type of meal you would want to make for about 10 people if they came over your house. What would be like your ideal thing you'd want to make them?
Nice. These questions are good. All right. So, growing up in an Italian family, there's always this obsession with pasta and pasta and wine. So those right off the bat, I make my own wine with my family and I make sauce with my family. So those two things I always have on deck at the house. There's going to be 10 people there. I need it in a pinch, a good meal. It would be homemade sauce and some pasta, maybe some chicken parm, maybe a little steak. If that's my ideal meal. And for those reasons, I have to hit the gym way more than I do. Yeah, but I would say like just standard pasta. Pasta carbonara is one of my favorite. I don't know if you know what that is. That's like it's a pasta made with eggs, raw eggs.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, that's right. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a Roman dish, really really good, and bacon. So like, what's better than that?
I like
Speechless.
I like farfalle with the mushrooms.
Fantastic.
That is just
Big. If you
really
like
good.
mushrooms, you love them, and if you don't like them, you just can't stand them. It's really weird.
yeah.
conversation.
It's that weird. It's like I know somebody who doesn't like tomatoes, and I'm just like, why? How can you not like tomatoes?
Those weird
Especially when
people
it's
are out
like
there.
blended in with macaroni like that too, though.
Yeah. Like I just had Five Guys, so I asked them like extra pickles because I just
Pickles.
love pickles.
It's another
like,
thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm a big pickle fan too. If you don't like pickles, though, you're like
Yeah. I was like, what?
anti-pickles for sure.
It's like what's wrong with you?
But then you got all the people who don't like the coleslaw, but then all pickles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, come on, like you gotta go all the way in or not.
It's one or the other. I mean, come on, you got to go with both. I'm a big diner guy.
That's for sure.
So yeah, that'd be my meal. What about you guys? What's your ideal meal?
So I'm coming from the catering perspective.
Oh, okay.
Oh good lord.
It's about to get super serious. I'm excited.
Very serious.
Towel over the arm type.
Exactly. So from that Italian perspective myself, I make sure that lasagna is always a first priority, only for my convenience, and then we hope that other people can adapt to it.
I'm in. I'm all in.
Is this all? What brand is it, Jerry? Kirkland?
Maybe. Inside jokes. You gotta love them.
Inside joke.
Kirkland lasagna.
Kirkland was. I don't know. My extended family aren't really cooks per se. Like my aunt will have Sunday if she's having people over. She'll just have like ravioli.
Cool.
My dad's the cook, so Christmas we'll have like the 7 fishes and stuff. And
Can't go wrong.
yeah, you can't go wrong with the 7 fishes.
We're looking to have 3 in this house.
Oh yeah, well no, yeah, I literally like named all 7 fishes to Jerry, and you couldn't name like half of them, right? You were like, what's that? And you're just like, yeah.
It's good for you.
I don't know
There
what
we
my
go.
you know
Gotta
what
see the thumbs up on that one.
I'm such a big steak guy, so just give me a steak, give me or no, here you go, lamb chops.
Whoa.
You give me lamb chops, I'm just lamb chops with maybe some broccoli and like a potato or fries. I'm just.
All right, well, you know what? I got to, while we're on the topic, we're talking about food. Yeah. So I'm a big foodie, and I just started an Instagram for it because I'm also into social media because of the Vaughn agency and work. So I just started a food Instagram called Tipsy Foodies. I'm going to throw another little plug in there.
Oh, nice.
A lot of plugs. And it's been a journey because there's nothing better in the world for me than to just go and grab some food and drinks with someone like that you're close with or family, whatever it is. So a couple of friends of mine and my cousins were going out so often and taking pictures of it because you can't not. Phone eats first, rather. So after a while, we decided like let's make an Instagram out of it, and we did, and it's been super cool. Like we went to Smorgasbord yesterday in Brooklyn.
Oh, nice. That's a good spot.
Yeah, it was sick. I mean, there was a ton of foods that I've never had before, and then the standard like mozzarella sticks, and really cool experience. So yeah, I don't know, big food guy.
What have you ever been to Project Brunch?
I haven't,
Yeah.
and I live literally like in the place.
That always happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
weird
live
because
so close.
I see the pictures of their food and I'm just like, not to like. It's like I can't even fathom like looking at it is getting me like into a sugar coma.
Yeah,
Some of their stuff.
David Fields photographing it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Our friend David, who works for Valpak, was like literally like right next door to it.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think I know David. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah,
David Grace.
David
Yeah.
Grace. Yeah.
Yeah.
He it's like literally like right next door, and he talks about like Project Brunch all the time. It's always crowded, and I just don't know how like how you could get a meal
Yeah,
and finish it is beyond me.
I'm with you, but I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm not a big dessert guy, so like waffles and crazy syrup and ice cream and stuff like that. I'd rather just have like a
I mean,
steak, like you
they're
said.
a niche. They're a niche, which is really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. I think, aren't they supposed to be opening up another location or some from what
North
I heard?
Shore, right?
North Shore.
Oh, what? Forest Avenue, I
Yeah.
think, right?
Yeah,
right.
which
Got it.
I mean, that's pretty cool. How you just came from because she was, if I'm remembering this right, the person that owned it is like stay-at-home mom, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so to do that and open up your own business
badass.
and that is badass, and
love
be
it.
successful at it. That's even more badass.
Yeah, it is.
And to have all the food in your horizon, too.
Oh,
yeah.
It's like, what
Yeah.
am I not going to give people that I should honestly have for myself?
Oh,
Yeah, for sure. Another thing we've been talking about, me and George, is like, because you spoke about how it's kind of a niche market. I think that cafes on Staten Island don't exist like they should, right? There's a bunch of Starbucks, but there's no like craft coffee houses. I mean, there are a couple, and I found one, and now I'm a crazy regular. I think they're actually sick of me. Main Street Coffee. I don't know. Have you been there?
Oh, so I've heard of it. I've never been there yet.
It's dynamite. It's a small place. The coffee's good. They got some
Stapleton?
treats. No, it's right on Main Street here in Tauntonville.
Oh, okay, because there
Yeah.
is a new coffee shop in Stapleton, right?
Van Duzer.
Got it.
Also fantastic. So I'm hunting these cafes. That's the only reason why I know them. But it's cool. Like go there in the morning before work sometimes, read for a little bit, just like relax. Those don't exist. I'm sick of Starbucks.
I know.
You guys drink Starbucks a lot? I don't know.
Well, I'm not a big coffee drinker.
Okay.
But so like I don't know I'm very boring. I don't drink or I'm not a coffee guy.
It's a neighborhood obligation to Intox, which is right
No,
next to
but
work.
let's see if I had to choose between like the Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, or what's the other one? The Starbucks, like,
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons. I mean, I really like Tim Hortons.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But
Tim
I'm
Hortons is cool.
for donuts, I'm like a Dunkin' Donut guy. Although Country Donuts has
Top
some
notch.
really good donuts. Yeah, and yeah, that's. But Tim Hortons, I've had their stuff. Their muffins are just like
Crazy.
amazing. My God, they're so
Well, Country
light.
Donuts has a very good variety of other food,
Oh,
which
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
people sleep on.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Didn't you, Jerry? One time, this is a funny story. We were in a production meeting. This is what 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. He came with Dunkin' Donuts coffee and Country Donuts donuts.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you get a ticket on the way here? That's
Probably.
unbelievable. Wow. There's got to be a law against
I would
it.
have
Yeah,
framed
that's
it if
gotta
that was
be.
the case.
Yeah.
There's got to be like we looked at him like, but you were there.
So you made 2 trips.
Yeah.
It was like right next to each
Was
other.
this planned?
Maybe.
We gotta dive into this.
No, it's like you're right there. Why are you?
It was in LT so with me, I want to get coffee in like a bundle, and Country Donuts and Forest doesn't have that because I like their coffee much better than Dunkin' Donuts.
Interesting.
So I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to get people like a company to have coffee for everybody?
Right,
Dunkin' Donuts right now is the option to choose from.
Yeah.
Well, it's just Dunkin'.
Yeah,
It's not donuts. It's Dunkin'.
we're
It's
all
just
gonna have a
Dunkin'.
hard time doing
It's
this.
just Dunkin'.
That's a real thing?
yeah. They changed it. Just it's Dunkin'.
I mean, I guess it's kind of a smart idea.
Well, because it's not.
They have so much stuff now.
Well, at first I thought it was a marketing ploy, like how IHOP did last year. With,
Right,
Yeah,
right,
and I'm
right.
just like, why are you just?
Love that idea, by the way. That was fantastic.
I was duped.
I don't think it got me. It's
I was like,
fantastic.
what?
Did you get a burger from them?
No, I didn't.
I'm interested to see how they were. I thought that was a genius idea.
Our friend Joe Valenti, can't go a podcast without mentioning my friend Joe, is that he's a big pancake guy. Everything's about pancakes with him. So like when he found out, he was like,
Having a hard
"Oh
time.
my God, where am I gonna get my pancakes from? I love pancakes." I'm like, "There's other places, Joe." No, IHOP.
There's only one. Yeah.
That's all you want.
Right,
Unless
makes
you want to
sense.
go to Jersey to get some local stuff like that.
Yeah, that's some serious stuff.
Speaking of small cafes, I don't know. Have you done like a lot of traveling, like around?
Like international or around?
I mean, like around the country. Because I'm gonna ask you if you have ever eaten, See, now I'm drawing a blank. Those small town, waffles, waffle houses.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you ever been to any waffle houses?
So in terms of traveling, I'm ashamed to say that I've done a ton of it outside of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Like the the regular vacation spots, but like a lot of traveling in Italy. So I kind of have this goal now to travel more in the United States, and I feel like Waffle House is a big thing. Like my roommate from college did his last year in Georgia, and they had a ton of those.
I got a story after this.
Yeah, and Georgia was like sick. I would love to just I don't know if I could live there, but I would love to go there for a period of time and just kind of like the culture's so different, the food's different, but. I want to hear the story.
Yeah.
So I was in LJ for about 4 days. It was me and about 2 or 3 of my friends. It was Matt and Mark who went with me. So we met up
Where?
LJ, Georgia.
Oh yeah.
So it was Mark's family we were seeing around there. So we were at the Waffle House, and let me tell you, I've never seen so many stereotypes. You can make a YouTube video off it all in one restaurant. I've seen, like, I saw people just getting so rude with, like, the waitresses or whatever. They're like, "Oh, come on, man, where's my fucking bacon egg?"
That's a pretty good impersonation.
Yeah, you can't make that up. No, it's real.
No, it's really good.
There's a reason.
That's my lifestyle. That's what I do in every restaurant I go to.
Where the hell's my chicken wrap? Because that's what you do at the Colony. Yeah, I'll get like a chicken wrap with no tomato. Oh yeah, you're the guy that doesn't like tomato. Of course.
Me?
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah. No.
Hey, dry tomatoes, I could get down with.
Okay.
Like
chopped
chopped in a salad or whatever. That's all good with me.
Okay. No, because we'll always go to the Colonnade. And we went to the Colonnade so much, maybe like 5-6 years ago, that we got the same waiter every time. And the guy was like, "Yeah, you want your usual?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he would like bring us.
What's better than that?
I mean, like
Exactly.
my usual was like, because we used to go there late, so I used to get like a I'm blanking on the names today.
It's the allergies.
Yeah, it's the allergies. Grilled cheese. I used to get grilled cheese, and then Jerry would get like a chicken wrap.
Chicken finger thing
Yeah,
or whatever.
like a chicken finger wrap.
Chicken finger melt, kind of.
Yeah, chicken finger melt, like hold the tomatoes and stuff like that, and then we'd be picking on the pickles and the coleslaw and stuff.
Picking on the pickles, nailed it.
Picking on the pickles.
Yeah, I think aside from going out to eat with your family and friends, going to the same place a bunch of times and having like connection with the people who work there, I feel like it's the coolest thing. I love that. I mean, me and my family used to always go to El Sonio, which is in Annandale, and the staff there is awesome. And going there and just feeling comfortable like you're at home, there's nothing. It's the best.
There's a restaurant me and my parents used to go to all the time in the city. It just closed recently. It was called Cafe Espanol.
Oh, cool.
And you would get it's around Houston
Okay.
Street, I think. And you'd either get tapas or you would get like just regular Spanish food. And it closed, and we were all upset about it.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Kind of divert the conversation just a little bit. I was curious to ask you this too.
Sure.
So I'm a big TED Talk guy, and I love watching TED Talks.
Yeah.
So this is a question for both of you. I'll have him answer first. So if you were to do a TED Talk about anything, what would you pick, and who are 3 people you want in the room?
Whoa. This guy's so good. You host my podcast? All right, let me think. So when you say 3 people in the room, do you mean listening or just like as supporters who are going to be there to help?
Supporters who are going to be there to help.
Okay. All right, cool. Wow. This is big. Something that is very TED Talk-esque that I am a big believer in, and I have tattooed on me actually, is the phrase, "The journey is everything." I have always been... Well, there's a lot of them, but we'll stick with that. Yeah. I would say that I've always been a big fan of doing what you love, right, and enjoying every step of it. So I always said, as easy as it is to say now, because I have very few responsibilities, that I would never work a job that I hated or never work a job that I dreaded like crazy and was begging for the weekend. I got super lucky that I found the job that I loved right off the bat. So it's easier, to say that. But I've also felt that even in jobs that you like, there's always going to be something that is a little bit annoying or something that you're not willing to do, But if you enjoy the grind and even the parts that you're not looking forward to and you make it exciting, you're going to look back when you're hopefully successful and say, that was really cool that I went through that period of time where I wasn't even enjoying it because I knew that there was a greater goal at the end. So the journey is like a big topic for me, and I think it's a very TED Talky kind of thing. And another thing is kind of positivity and energy. I've been really trying to focus myself on that, and I've started reading a couple of books about it. I just think that being positive and being happy is such a mental thing. Like it's all about you. Like if you want to be happy, you just convince yourself that you're happy, and you will be. So I've been working on that. 3 people that I would have help me with that. That's a good one. One of them would probably have to be my dad. He's always a big inspiration work-wise. And my grandfather, who owned dealerships in Staten Island, he was like kind of my biggest business role model. So I think he would drive that point home pretty well. A lot of what I do now is kind of for his legacy now that he's gone. So that's a big deal for me. And now on the third person, I'm gonna get crazy and think of somebody famous that I'd like to have there. Gary Vaynerchuk. Yeah,
I would love to see him with your family and stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a mix. But yeah, I don't know. He's one of the people that I followed first that kind of got me into this journey kind of vibe because he's so out there. He's out of his mind, but that he seems genuinely happy and he is super energetic and motivating. I've read a lot of his books. So if I could have those three power team people there and drive the point home that we need to enjoy every day, no matter what it brings us, that's my goal, and that would be my TED Talk.
So you got to answer like Gary Vaynerchuk on this question, Christian. Oh God.
So I think I have two. But I also have two TED Talks that I've watched that I really enjoyed, and I'll mention those first as I'm siphoning through what I would talk about. The two TED Talks I really liked there was this kid that was on stage. It was like 5-6 years ago. He was talking about homeschool hacking. So his kid didn't go to regular school, but he was homeschooled, but he grew a business around homeschooling.
Right.
And this kid was like 14 and he's like interning places and stuff, and he's learning more doing that than you would at just regular regular class. And you kind of see that nowadays where it's like, I know I have like younger cousins who like I would talk to about like things that I don't know anything like that's going on in the world, and they have no clue. They have no clue what's going on. And I feel like a lot of schooling is kind of not, I don't want to say revisionist, but it's what would the word you would use, Jerry? Not skewed, like
overcomplicated.
It's overcomplicated, but depending on the teacher, they would like put in their point of view on certain things, and not like if you're learning about, let's just say like the American Revolution. It's like, okay, you didn't really grow up in the American. I hope you didn't grow up in the American Revolution. We'd have some questions, but it's like there's not really of your point of view you could put into the American Revolution. So you should just teach it like straight up with facts.
Right.
I feel like a lot of times people like put in their all like, oh well, I think, this. That's why I'm leaning more towards like homeschool, more mainstream homeschooling and stuff. And then there was another one because I'm a big professional wrestling fan. Awesome. So like this guy had professional wrestling. No, mainstream news is using professional wrestling tactics to like get a rise out of people.
Cool.
Yeah, so those are the two TED Talks I liked. I saw. The one I would do is, or the two I would do is struggles in filmmaking.
Okay.
Just from start to finish, how
It's a struggle to be with me on that process.
Yeah. Oh. The struggle of just like when you come up with an idea.
Right.
Is it feasible for you to do? But if you believe in it enough,
you'll get it done. Yeah.
There's that. And the other one I would do is, for me personally, would be like struggles in growing up in like grammar school, in like a Catholic grammar school, where you have an overactive imagination and every teacher is telling you and telling your parents there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with you. You're your own individual person who has a mind of its own, and because that was me growing up. I was I would write stories in the back of my notebook. I'd make noises in the classroom. I was very fidgety, and fourth grade teacher was like, something wrong with him. You got to put him on Ritalin.
Yeah.
Thank God they didn't, because I'd be a completely different person now.
Dude, that's that hits home with me. That's pretty crazy. I think that there's so many people out there, especially not only in school but in the world, that are suppressed because they're not the norm, and that's bullshit, quite frankly.
Of course.
And then in terms of school, like it's wild because school is supposed to be the place where you're able to think whatever the hell you want, right? And then ask questions that you're interested in, or talk about topics that you're are excited to learn about. And it seems like even in college now, it's becoming less and less okay to speak your mind. And that's a wild thought. And you mentioned also kind of if you have a goal in mind or a feasible idea, as you put it. I like to imagine that there are a few things that we can't do, and that sounds a little wild. But one small technique that I've just started doing in 2019 is I think that if you have your priorities straight, that sounds wrong. That's not what I meant. If you have your goals prepared and listed, then you're able better to devote time to them. So right now in my bathroom, there's a Post-it on my mirror, and it's 5 things, and they're all things that I care most about, all things I want to work towards. I put the natural stuff like family aside, right? Because that's pretty obvious. I don't need to look at family every day to know that they're important.
That's a constant reflection.
Yeah, exactly. But the things that I do have up there are, the Vaughn agency, and my goals with that. Partners in Sound, another job. It's just another, another level of income that I'm getting. My charity, the Kiwanis Club, those things are really important to me. And I feel like those minor goals within those larger kind of areas, if I really focus my time on them every day, no matter what I want to do, I can do it. So I don't know. That's helped me a lot, and I'm reading a lot about stuff like this, and it's helping. Have you ever read or heard of the book How to Win Friends and Influence People?
I've heard the name. I don't know who it's by though.
By Dale Carnegie. It's written in 1937 and been fixed up a bit to make not really modernize the ideas, because the ideas are ancient and they're genius, but to use more modern examples to explain the ideas. And I'm learning a ton from it. I don't know if do you guys read at all? I never used to, dude. Ever. Never.
So I'll read if something interests me. I'm a big online reader, so if I find something that's compelling, I'll take my time 15-20 minutes to actually absorb the information.
Right. I think that's probably more practical in some cases.
Yeah.
Because you could really find anything online, really detailed.
Yeah, I'm really especially when it comes to some filmmaking ideas I have. If I have an idea that popped up in my head, but I want to do a little more research on something, I would dive into it. I've been trying to write this thing for the last 10 years, and I finally broke ground, officially broke ground on it. I would write a little bit of it, but then I'd be unsatisfied. But a couple months ago, it was the first time I actually finished an overall
that's awesome,
outline of it, and I was just watching a YouTube video. It was about The Legend of Zelda.
Oh, really?
just it's the video game Legend of Zelda,
cool.
And how there's different subtexts within it, and one of it was Shintoism, which is a Japanese I don't want to say it wrong. I think I think it's Japanese.
Cool.
And it was just the whole religion and mysticism around it. I was wow, this is really cool. Let me read more about this, and I started to incorporate it more into my story and stuff. But I don't normally read pop open a book and
right.
Read. Last book I read, I think, was The Dark Tower, which was 2 years ago, and then 3 years before that, I reread The Lord of the Rings again, because that's when the Hobbit movies came out. So I was let me read this again. But
for some reason, I can't read just for pleasure like that.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just get bored.
It's very hard. You start to wander.
Yeah.
Your mind starts to wander.
And the phone is hard to put down when I'm reading. I'm having such a hard time with that too. It's wild.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Everyone always puts such an emphasis on the importance of reading in terms of learning more and vocabulary and things like that. I don't know if that's still a thing, or if watching a documentary on something you're interested in is just as important. What do you guys think about that?
I think a visual interpretation is the more pragmatic way of learning.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're watching something, there's more of an emphasis as far as how you can relate to it,
right.
And then how you're able to understand that point of view versus, a subjective way of, internalizing it when you read something without,
right.
The picture.
Yeah, you give me a video on something, I'll eat it up.
Better?
If for me, it's better because I have audio processing issues. So sometimes it takes me maybe 2 or 3 tries to read a paragraph in order to really absorb it. So but visually, you give me something visually, you give me a test 10 minutes later, and I'm
really.
But there was some stuff I wanted to research on that I was trying to find history channel documentaries on YouTube, and instead of doing research and reading, because sometimes I won't find exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you give it to me visually, I'll understand the story or what you try to explain a lot more than naturally sitting down reading.
Yeah.
Which is a funny story, because on books, so high school, we would always, during the summer, you get like, here, read this book, read this
10
book.
books, yeah.
I would read the book. I would skim through the book, but I would skim through the book, just get the overall outline, and then I'd go online, and I'd go, is there a movie on this? And then I would watch the movie. So, like, we had to read Fantastic Voyage.
Oh, cool.
So I read the book, and then I watched the movie. And then a funny story was I had a really cool science teacher. I completely blanked on who the character's name was, so I raised my hand. I'm like, I watched the movie. Can I put, like, the actors that play? She said, yeah. So I put that, like, Donald Pleasance.
There you go.
Raquel Welch.
Shout out to that teacher.
She answered it correct, because I was like, I watched the movie. I forgot the names, but I watched the movie.
That's so funny, man.
There was that, and then there was All Quiet on the Western Front, most boring movie ever, but I watched it. And those were a lot easier to, like,
understand
than the book. That's mine.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, from a marketing perspective, right, I see time and time again that video is everything. For just about every client, video is, like, the go-to. It used to be blogs, and I think blogs still work, and it's a long conversation
It's a
about
niche.
it. Yeah. But for the most part, spreading a message is almost always easiest with either some type of graphic or photo or a video. And now people's
Attention span.
attention span, boom, nailed it. Yeah, people's attention span is so short now that you have to get your message clear, and people don't understand it in like under 15 seconds. It's absolutely crazy. But I always just think about whether or not people put such a big emphasis on reading back then because that's all that existed, or if because reading is better for your mind and your brain than some of this watching crazy amounts of television is. I don't know. But either way, you're learning, I guess.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, to retain that information is always like apples to oranges per individual. So you always have to factor that in because that's the most objective you could be.
Sure.
And then you just have to understand for yourself like what would work best. There's always like a habit in motion as far as like what you kind of like see yourself doing.
Yeah, it's very true. I didn't even think about that. I guess it really depends on the person. I mean, you said it too. I mean, you see stuff better and you understand stuff better with video than you would reading. And I think I'm probably the same way. That's why it's so hard for me to read. But I'm pushing myself and I'm trying not to fall asleep in my book.
There you go.
Wake up in the middle of the night, your head is like
one page in.
with the highlighter, and you only like one sentence in. It's like,
exactly.
So to kind of go from one question to another, but to bring a point home. So for me, like, if I was to do a TED Talk, I would just talk about gratitude and how it leads to success over time and how much gratitude you have as far as thanking others, as far as being part of your journey and stuff like that. So towards what you were saying. So I'm curious, what's the most creative way you've ever thanked somebody in your life?
Whoa, that's so good. I'm literally baffled by these questions. Baffled.
Hey, he's good.
He's fantastic. I only know because I've tried to do this, our podcast at the Vaughn Agency. Not that, it failed. We just have put less time towards it. But it's hard to come up with really good questions like that. But anyway, the best way that I've thanked somebody. Wow, that's tough. That's really, really tough. What I'm trying to do now is be more verbal than ever before. So, like, my mom and my parents, they know obviously that I appreciate it, and and they'll see that through how I've done in school and through my whole childhood. But it's pretty rare that I would be like, "Hey, Mom, like, thanks a lot for what you've done. I really appreciate it because now I'm able to do X, Y, and Z." I think those conversations in general are pretty powerful, even though that's really standard and not really cool. But one of the coolest things, I've got an idea. One of the coolest ways that I've showed someone that I'm appreciative of them is like random small gifts. So my grandparents, for example, really close with them. And one day, for no reason, I had just bought them an Alexa show, like the ones with the screens. And first of all, it's hilarious watching them.
You saw my face.
I saw Christian like, oh, Jesus. But yeah, first of all, they'll love it. It's so cool to see them interact with it. But also, it's become like part of their life now, and I'm able to say like, yeah, you know what, it was something cool that I just brought to them one day, and they were really, and my grandmother's like such a sweetheart. She's like, oh, thank you so much, we love it, and she's using it for X, Y, and Z. My grandfather gets a little mad at it because he has a heavy accent, and also even so, if you don't have an accent, sometimes it just doesn't work.
Oh, of course.
And it's annoying. It's a pain in the ass. But anyway, I guess that would be it. Like small little gifts. I feel like that's like the coolest thing. When you get a gift from somebody, it doesn't have to be expensive, but like a $15 T-shirt that's just a saying that you know your friend likes. Like
Right.
you just get it and you show them, hey, I thought that you like this. That's super cool.
It doesn't. It never takes a lot of money to make sure that you're appreciative of somebody.
Yeah.
As long as the thought counts, because honestly, that's the most priceless thing about anything that you do selflessly.
Yeah, right, for sure.
So
what's your? I want to hear about you.
I did so similar to you. I did Google Home gift for 2 types of groups. So first group I'm going to talk about is at the JCC.
Cool.
I got the special needs group a Google Home because I used to work in that type of field.
Right.
So I understand the means of communication as far as how helping to enhance their skills and make it more practical in the real world. So they did like a lot of stuff with our like parks department. I got a partnership with them that way. So when I got them the gift, I told Craig, who was who the person was like running that whole group.
Right.
So I told Craig, I'm like, think of it this way: when you have something like this, you're able to help strengthen their communication skills and their clarity as they communicate back and forth with each other.
It's huge. That's absolutely huge. I mean, it's priceless.
Then on a more comical scale, I got a Google Home for family upstairs.
There you
so,
go.
of course, with my dad, technologically out of scale. And I think it's more of a thank you to myself as far as seeing him try to communicate with it.
He can Google things on his own now.
My dad calls me upstairs to print something.
Oh, good, really?
Can you print this out? I'm like, Dad, it's wireless. Just press the print button.
Yeah.
No, you got to turn it on. So I have to plug the printer in.
Can I say something about printers that I think they suck? I think we have the sickest technology out there, and I think printers suck.
We're still
Right?
We're still at that age of printers. Like,
why?
I don't know. Like
Right.
we're old enough to like look at it like this. Like we're old enough. We're the generation that first had the first home computers officially. Right. I don't want to say like the Mac DOS stuff, but I mean like officially the affordable home computers. In like I think I got mine in like 1996.
Yeah.
I was like 6. Yeah, and then we got the printers, and these were like the first home printers, not like the big office fax machine printers. And the only thing that's changed about it is that they're wireless.
Yeah.
That's it. You can still fax, still make a copy, still print. That's it.
There's still a ton of problems with it. Like there's always jams and
toner jams.
Yeah, the ink is expensive. I don't know why.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, you have no clue. Like, not only is it expensive, it runs out so fast.
Yeah.
Like you like, and I don't even. My family doesn't even print. Like I print out resumes. That's all I print out. And I print them out maybe once every other week because I print them out in bulk.
God forbid you print something with color too. It's like you gotta take out a loan.
Yeah, and then
cartridge is like $35.
$35. One time, one printer we had, it was just like 2 or 3 printers ago, was like $75 for like ink. I'm like, why?
Wild.
I'm like, why?
Yeah, the printers are cheap now.
Yeah,
and the ink is expensive.
It's like here's a $150 printer. Oh, by the way, the ink is $200.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, right.
I still remember walking into a Staples that would be like 6 years ago and seeing the 3D printer and being like, what?
Wild.
What is this? Like, oh, it's 3D printer. I'm like,
explain this.
what, like I felt old. Like,
yeah, right.
I don't know why. Like, it's like you see some type of new technology and you're like, you feel old, even though I was like probably like 21 at the time. I'm like, why do I feel like I'm like 80? Like, what?
That's so funny.
So I like to keep my conclusions open-ended, so I'm going to leave off in this final question to you.
Sure.
What's an idea that you've always had in the vault that you've wanted to get out there and had a hard time trying to express it?
Business?
Anything.
Could be anything. That's a good one. That's a really good one. So I'm going to start off with one angle just because that's a tough one. One angle I start off with is I always knew that I wanted to start a business, even from when I was a kid. But not until it was like deep into college, I realized that was kind of like stupid, really general thing. Like I want to start a business. Cool. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you need more direction than that. Like, what kind of business? Yeah. So, I fell into marketing, and I realized that with that, I was able to kind of learn a little bit about all types of business. So that was really cool. But I'm still, like, I always kind of had this in the back of my mind, this idea, this Shark Tank vibe. Like, I want to create something, and like that. I think that's so cool, and I have no idea what it is. I'm trying to get it out of me. Like, what's that cool and like invention that I could think of, shoot for the stars, maybe spend too much money on it, and then like really break through. So I don't know. I'm still in that process where I'm trying to think of it.
The maybe is extra spelled out as far as anyone willing to put themselves in that predicament.
For sure. But that's the best I can give. That's a tough question, but I don't know. Give me some ideas. What about you?
So something that I've wanted to do, it's more of a silly idea, and I think I've told Christian about this. So film festivals seem to have a...
Lord.
Yep. You already know what's up, Christian.
It's a controversial
film festival, I know.
So film festivals, because we've had a lot of experience going to like different ones in the city and just throughout Jersey and stuff like that. So they're very serious, and I've never liked the vibe as far as how serious people are. Because even when like people start to like laugh at themselves, they kind of get like condemned to it because like you have a very artsy vibe as far as with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, come on, you gotta stop, like all this other crap or whatever. So I've always wanted to do the First is the Worst film festival, and the way it would work is I would have people's first movie they've ever done, and I would have them only submit that first movie. So then it's kind of like, which one is the worst movie, and then you get to show your best movie afterwards.
Right. That's super cool. And if you get famous people in there, like someone who is wildly successful, and you get to see their first piece of work, you're like, oh, well, that kind of looks like my work, so maybe I'll be successful.
And I've pitched it to a couple of people.
Wait, what?
I've actually told people the idea.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they love it. Shockingly, because I said because I
pay a royalty to Jerry. That's his idea.
Well, yeah, no, because I was sitting there and I'm
No
no,
problem.
it wasn't. It was to like Chris's group.
Oh, I got you.
They're like, oh wow, we love that idea. Like, that's awesome. Showing your worst work, and then I already know which one I would show.
It gives people. I feel like it gives people more self-esteem about their stories and what they're willing to share.
Yeah.
So, because people tend to like kind of like close off themselves, like when they express themselves to other people. So like, why not have an opportunity to show something that actually has happened in your life and not be ashamed of it?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people out there who, once they're successful, they'll hide the kind of shitty first phases.
Yeah.
And just be boast about. Not really boast about. I don't know, it's not negative, but and just get more excited about the stuff that was successful. But if you really look back, and you see from phase one, you start to really appreciate the success. And I'm a fan of Russ, right?
Oh,
the
of course, yeah.
So, did you see the video on Instagram recently? He starts off like it's a video clip of him in like this small club, like 100 people rapping, and then all of a sudden it cuts to like his most recent concert with like thousands of people.
I love his story.
So cool. So cool.
He's somebody who I give so much respect to because he's completely himself 120% of the time.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah, it's super. And like hearing his first couple of songs or seeing his first couple of concerts really makes you appreciate his music now. It's pretty similar to the film idea.
That's for sure.
That was just my dad. My parents are in Florida right now.
Oh, yeah?
And my dad knows I want a Mustang.
Oh, nice.
So
he's working on it?
Yeah, no. So he rented, rent a car.
Oh,
and
cool.
he rented the Mustang, and my mom took a picture of him, and he sent it to me, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, thank you. I'm
out to Staten Island.
I'm like, thank you for torturing me. It's fine. Yeah, appreciate it. For me, I want to open up a production company.
Cool.
And then me and Jerry talked about doing wow, the allergies, man. A nonprofit. Thank you. A nonprofit. Wait, this is what the subject is about, and I couldn't remember. Nonprofit for kidney and pancreatic cancer.
Wow.
Because I had a family member that died of.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. It was it hit me pretty hard, but
wow.
I feel like I want to be able to help other people that had the same thing that he had.
Yeah.
So I want to open up something like that as well as in conjunction with the production company.
really good.
Yeah.
Can I curse on this really quick?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
go right
You
ahead.
should fucking do it, man.
Yeah, I know. I do. I want to. I
Yeah.
want to. The thing is I know Jerry's got his. What makes me and Jerry work so well is like Jerry, who doesn't watch movies, doesn't watch television,
Not really.
is a really good film producer with the fact that he doesn't watch.
Interesting.
And
Like a different perspective.
Yeah, he looks at it at a different perspective. And I'm always the film guy, so like I would not to like knock you in, but it's like I really want to be in business with somebody who knows the ins and out of business, of running a bit. Not I know, so you kind of run a little bit with like books and stuff, but that's more like event books, and I mean like overall.
Oh, it's a completely different
it's
animal.
a completely different
That's
animal
for
when it
sure.
comes to like books and stuff. And I feel like you'd be good as a partner, but it's like as you would say to me too, like you need like somebody that's like an expert. Jerry would run, because you would run some, because you said you would run a certain side of the because we've had discussions.
Oh yeah, of course.
Jerry wanted to run like the like some of the books for like the for the projects that we do, like for like if somebody needs like a video, Jerry would be like, hey, here's our budget and
establish
shit like that.
quotas and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you're really good at that because you did the budgeting for like one of the other films.
Well, you always want to give people opportunities to kind of like see your work at first, and then see like where the investment lies from you.
Sure.
So like it's important to see what you're willing to give to others and see what could be given back. So I've always wanted to like kind of incorporate that mindset, like when I'm drafting a proposal and seeing, okay, how can I relate myself towards why people want to work with me?
Yeah, and that's a really good position to have. That's a really good niche as well. It's like with me, it's like I feel like what you said, like you wanted to run a business. I feel like I'm a little business savvy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I was saying before about reading about it, and just like I could watch videos, but even sometimes watching videos is
not
boring.
enough.
It's
Yeah.
boring. It's boring. So like I feel like if I had somebody that's like running the business, but then I'm the guy that's like, hey, walks up to you, be like, hey, I have this idea that I want to do.
Right.
Is it feasible for us
To experiment.
to experiment and figure out, hey, can we do this along with the project that we're making money on?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like we're going out, we're making videos for people, we're putting in money, but we also want to be content creators.
yeah.
That's my big thing. I want to be content creation. So like, if I had somebody that's like businessy, along with like Jerry running the books and then like someone else doing that, like I think that would be really cool. But and it's a gamble too. Like you put a lot of money into it and you're always stressed out and stuff. So like,
Yeah, it's a huge gamble. To that point, the only thing, the advice that I can give, only because I'm doing it, is finding like a mentor of some sort,
Yeah.
which is obviously easier said than done.
Yeah.
Again, I got so goddamn lucky because I found George, who was running a business that I was interested in. George and Letitia, actually, because
Look how many
Letitia.
jobs George has worked over time too.
Oh my God,
That's a big
George
source
has
of help
worked
that way.
Every single job ever in every state. And Letitia, who's the other owner of the company, has such an interesting outlook from the public relations side, from a political standpoint, and from the both of them, I'm eating up so much knowledge that I feel more equipped than ever to actually run a business, if it came down to it. And I feel like sometimes there's only so many videos and books that you can read. Watching it happen in front of you is the best way. And it's really cool. And the other side to that, too, is you mentioned, like, the books, right? So, for example, like, the accounting side of it is something that I hate, and I'm not
yeah,
good
I
at.
hate that.
So, with the Manfredi movement...
I could get used to it. It's one of those things, like when I put my mind to it, I can be pretty diligent and get it done.
Right.
But it takes a while to put yourself
Get
in that
in.
mindset.
Yeah, like I couldn't stand it, and I think that the best thing to do is to not let that stuff stop you, but rather to find someone who's really excited and good at it and let them do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do with my board for the Manfredi movement. It's like, what do you guys want to do? Because then you're going to do it really well. And Emily, who's on the board, is a good example. She was like, yeah, like I like writing a lot. I was like, all right, well, why don't you take care of like some of the blogs for our website? And she's crushing it, and they're sick. So like, I think again, full circle, doing what you love, you always do the best. So find somebody that's good, at the stuff you hate, and then you can just create videos all day. That's the best thing.
Because that's the stuff I love, being the producer and the director of it, but not necessarily like I'll run a company, but like if you give me like the books and stuff, like
It's like, whoa.
I'm just like, just
Don't wanna
you do it, and then just tell me if we're in the red or not.
Yeah,
It's
are we
fine.
winning?
Yeah. But what you said,
Green or
but
red.
what you said about like mentors and stuff, Jerry, I kind of look as Jerry as like a mentor too, because way back when he was looking for work,
Right.
before he settled into the position that he's in now, I used to call him the interview king. Because it'd be like, I call him up, hey, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm going to Jersey. I got an interview here, and then I got one on Staten Island, then I got one in the state. What? In one day? How?
It's
How
a
do you do it?
Crazy process
Yeah.
sometimes, man.
So like when I go on in interviews, Jerry's the first person I text. I go, hey, Jerry, this is the interview I'm going for. I want to say this to them,
Right.
but I don't know how to word it correctly.
Yeah.
Can you help me? And then like 10 seconds later, Jerry would be like, say it like this, and I'd be like,
Oh, that makes
damn,
sense.
like why didn't the hell, man? Like why didn't I think of that? And
Trying to win in
Yeah,
every
it's-
aspect
yeah.
is impossible.
because the thing is well, what's good about what I think is good about me with interviews is that you as the interviewee is only as good as the person that's interviewing you.
for sure.
So like if you just have like a dull person that's like, hey, so like you did, like I can't really feed off you. I've had some interviews where I felt like I nailed it
Right.
just because the person was so like, hey, how are you? How's it going? Hey, so
Oh, it happens all
wow,
the
that's
time.
really fascinating. Tell me more about that. Oh man, that's awesome. Blah, blah. And then don't get it. And then I'm like, you were so nice to me, and we were like getting off, and you built that confidence up about yourself, and then just to like, and then you have like those really bad interviews where you're like, oh, I didn't get it, and then they call you back, and you're like,
At least for another round.
and you're like,
Yeah, right.
and you're like, what?
I guess that's just them being good at their job, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a good way of looking at it.
That happened to me last year. Like
Yeah.
it was like I had a phone interview, and I'm like, these guys aren't going to call me back. And then I had another interview, and I'm like, and I went to the interview, and I was on the bus coming back home. I was like,
Yeah.
F this and F that, because I was like, I was terrible. They called me back a third time, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's something going on here. And then
Yeah.
next week I got the job. I was like, okay.
Dude, you know what? It's all a numbers game, and also it's like, unfortunately, there's always so many things going on in the background that you'll never know. It's like maybe you didn't get the job because, somebody else made more sense for the thing that they needed to be done, or maybe like they thought they can hire and they can't, or maybe there's so many things going on in the background.
And
If
you'll never know.
You'll never
Yeah.
know. But it's like if you blame yourself, you just wind up crazy.
There's
Exactly.
always that thing. There's always that it's sad, but it's good at the same time. It's like there's always somebody better.
Yeah. All the
So
time.
it's like you can be the master of your craft or whatever you do, but there's always going to be somebody that's a notch
every time.
better than you.
Every
And
time.
I think that's what makes everybody run, makes everybody keep working and stuff, because it's like you could be satisfied, but then you're just quitting.
Yeah.
If you're satisfied, where it's like you need to be like, need to get better, need to get better, need to get better.
Yeah.
And that's what drives people. That's what I think that's what drives a lot of people in businesses too.
Mm-hmm.
It's that
Definitely.
you could get as big. Well, nobody will get as big as Disney, but you could get as big
Not
as.
yet.
Well, not yet. Yeah, you could get as
There
big
we
as
go.
you could
Amazon
get as
did.
big as you could get as big as
That's why it's a business podcast.
wherever
for a
it
reason.
is. But there's always going to be someone bigger than you. There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
As
The
Qui-Gon,
tackle.
as Qui-Gon Jinn said in Star Wars, there's always a bigger fish.
Big Star Wars guy.
Yeah, yeah.
The bigger fish to tackle, though.
Yeah.
Let's make it
There
down.
you go.
Big fish to tackle.
Fuck that fish.
Now it's done. Joe, is there anything else you want to promote before we wrap up?
Plug away.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Sorry. So I'll start
Whatever,
off
mate.
with if you're interested in helping out the community in Staten Island, if you're young, if you're not young, it doesn't matter, but we want to help out the community. We're in our 501c3 process, and check out themanfreddymovement.com. It's really, really important to me, and I think that it's flexible enough that we can help a ton of people. So we're open to a lot of ideas, whether it's being on the team or asking us for our help. Definitely reach out. Again, themanfreddymovement.com. And then I'll also shout out the Levon Agency, again, because a lot of the things that I talked about today, I can accredit the staff there, Letitia and George, for giving me a ton of knowledge and helping me through the process. So, yeah, those are my plugs. Those are the important ones.
There you go. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. I appreciate it, guys.
You got it. And there you have it. Joe Quadara, Season 2, Episode 1. I just love saying Season 2, Episode 1 because it is a fact of life. Christian, how do you feel about the new trajectory of our season so far?
I love it. It's really good. We had a really strong start. Next week is going to be Joe Valenti. I've said it a million times. You guys are going to hear me and Joe argue.
I'm very excited.
He's going to tell me to shut up 1,000 times.
Can we make a drinking game?
Yes.
Out of gluten-free water for you?
Yes. I'm going to put up something. Maybe I'll put something up on Facebook. The Joe Valenti drinking game of how many times he tells me to shut up. How many times he asks me, do I like pancakes? How many times he's going to tell me to go home. And just, all that juiciness.
I wonder how many times he's going to tell me to go home.
Yeah, he's going to tell you to shut up. So drink the whole shot if he says that's what she says. No, sorry. Finish your drink if he says that's what she says. Take a shot every time he says go home or shut up.
You're like too drunk to be making up your own rules right now.
I am.
Off your Five Guys mixed drink over here.
No, it's these allergies. I'm taking like meds and stuff, so I'm just like, I'm a little loopy. So yeah, so that's it, Jerry. Next week, season 2, episode 2. I can't believe season 2. I can't believe it. It's really good. We're gonna try to get some returning guests from last season to come back.
I want the dad joke battle to happen.
Let's get that dad joke thing going with Craig Lordgren and
Antonio Gerardo.
Let's see who can make the worst dad jokes ever. It's going to be a little late, but I do want to get Chris Marcianti on because him and me, we were supposed to get Chris on in October, but then he got overbooked. What I mean by he got overbooked was we booked him, and then we had Mike Levy, and then we had Larry Sharp, and then it was too late because we were going to talk about the new Halloween movie.
Right.
But I figured, it's never too late for us to rant about movies. And plus, Chris wants to do a YouTube show, so I figure we'll do something. We'll start it as a podcast, and then we'll move on to that. But we're gonna rant about Halloween. Have Chris on. We'll get a whole new people on. And then we'll dive more into stuff. We'll do like tales from the filmmakers of like our old stuff. Like maybe we'll do tales with filmmakers for Galaxy Wars.
Okay, I have a suggestion.
Okay, go.
Very quick before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Could we do a filmmakers episode of the first time I filmed the wrestling match with you?
I want to do a Tales of the Filmmakers-esque show for the wrestling stuff. Have us like very like something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard-ish, where it's like we take like one KCW show and do like the backstory of it, and then not entirely watch it, but go through the matches and just like either we'll commentate or we'll go like, hey, so this match happened. What's your opinion on it? Dud. Or like, it was okay. But I want to do like some backstories and stuff with each wrestler because we had a lot of wrestlers and stuff that were prima donnas and stuff. So
that would be a cool thing to do with a bunch of people who were involved.
I would love to get Jimmy on. I'm definitely going to work this season to get more mics so we can have more guests on, multiple guests, instead of having like one person sharing the mic. But or two people sharing one mic.
You want to share it with me, don't you?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So that's basically it, Jerry. So a lot of new things to come. I'm going to put a banner up on the page for this first season. Like, here's all of our episodes from the first season. Off the banner, just all the banner covers. By the way, I'm sorry, guys, this wasn't video. I'm just really under the weather when it comes to like allergies and stuff. So like, I just didn't feel like hooking up the video equipment. But from now on, it's going to be video. You're going to see Joe's lovely face on the next episode. But yeah. All right, guys. That's a wrap.
Love yous.
We'll see you next week on Collective Podcast.
All right.